You probably think you know exactly how a chameleon works because you saw it in a cartoon once. You think they just turn into a polka dot pattern the second they sit on a strawberry or disappear into a brick wall. The truth is that almost everything you believe about these little guys is actually a total lie. Chameleons are easily the most misunderstood weirdos in the entire animal kingdom. They are basically the high-tech gadgets of the reptile world, and they have features that would make a spy jealous. We are talking about built-in 360-degree cameras and tongues that move faster than a jet fighter. If you thought your dog was cool because he can sit on command, you are about to be very disappointed in him. Chameleons don't just sit there looking pretty. They are biological masterpieces of strange engineering. By the end of this, you are going to realize that these lizards are basically living, breathing magic tricks. So let's get into the real story of why these animals are the ultimate shapeshifters of the forest. We have to start with the biggest lie of all, which is the idea of why they actually change color. If you ask anyone on the street why a chameleon changes color, they will say it is for camouflage. They will tell you the lizard wants to hide from a snake, so it turns the same shade as the leaf it is sitting on. While that sounds really smart and logical, it is actually mostly wrong. Sure, being green helps them stay hidden in the trees, but that is usually just their base color anyway. The real reason they change their skin color is much more like a mood ring from the 1990s. A chameleon uses its skin to tell the rest of the world exactly how it is feeling at that very moment. Think of it like a giant neon sign that broadcasts their emotions to everyone in the neighborhood. If a male chameleon gets really angry because another male is in his personal space, he won't just hiss. He will turn bright, aggressive yellow or orange to say, "Back off, buddy, this is my branch." It is basically the reptile version of a guy at the gym taking his shirt off to show his muscles. When they are relaxed and happy, they stay a nice, chill green color that blends in with the scenery. But if they are looking for a girlfriend, they might put on a flashy light show to get some attention. They also use their skin as a personal thermostat because they are cold-blooded animals. If a chameleon wakes up and feels a bit chilly, it can't just go grab a sweater or turn up the heater. Instead, it will turn its skin a very dark color like deep brown or even black. Dark colors soak up the heat from the sun much faster than light colors do. Once they get nice and toasted and warm, they might turn back to a lighter green so they don't overheat. It is a genius way to survive in the wild without needing a wardrobe full of clothes. But how do they actually do it without using any paint or magic? Most people think they have different colored pigments that they just mix together like a painter. But science has recently discovered that it is actually way more high-tech than that. They have these tiny cells in their skin called iridophores that contain microscopic crystals. These crystals are arranged in layers and they act like tiny little disco balls or mirrors. When the chameleon gets excited or angry, its skin stretches or relaxes. This change in the skin causes the distance between those tiny crystals to change. When the distance changes, the way light bounces off the crystals changes too. It is literally a physical change in how light reflects off their bodies that creates the color. So when you see a chameleon turn from green to bright red, you are seeing a physics experiment in real time. It is one of the coolest tricks in nature, and we are only just beginning to understand how it works. Now imagine if you had a security camera system that could see everything happening around you at once. That is exactly what a chameleon has built right into its face with those crazy bulging eyes. Most animals have eyes that work together to look at one thing at a time. If you want to look left, both your eyes go left, otherwise, you would get a massive headache. But the chameleon doesn't care about your rules of biology or eye coordination. Their eyes are mounted on these little turrets that can swivel around completely on their own. One eye can be looking straight up at a delicious fly, while the other eye is looking behind it for a bird. This is called independent eye movement, and it gives them a full 360-degree view of the world. It is like having a split-screen video game going on inside their brain all day long. They can process two different images at the exact same time without getting confused. This makes it almost impossible for anything to sneak up on a chameleon. You could be the world's greatest ninja, and that lizard would still see you coming from a mile away. However, once they spot something they want to eat, their eyes do something even weirder. They stop moving independently and both lock onto the target at the same time. This gives them incredible depth perception, which they need for their next big trick. It switches from a wide-angle security camera to a high-precision sniper scope in a second. This brings us to the most dangerous part of the chameleon, which is its tongue. If you think you are fast at grabbing the last slice of pizza, you are nothing compared to this lizard. A chameleon's tongue is often twice as long as its entire body. Imagine if your tongue could reach all the way across the room to grab a snack off the table. But it isn't just about the length. It is about the unbelievable speed of the attack. The tongue can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 1/100th of a second. That is faster than any sports car ever made by humans. It happens so fast that the human eye usually can't even see the tongue move. 1 second the fly is sitting there thinking about its life, and the next second it is just gone. The end of the tongue is like a wet, sticky suction cup that hits the prey with massive force. It isn't just sticky like tape. It actually forms a vacuum that pulls the insect in. There is a special bone in their mouth that acts like a spring to launch the tongue forward. When they are ready to fire, they release all that built-up energy and the tongue flies out. It is a masterpiece of evolution that allows a slow-moving lizard to catch fast-moving bugs. If the chameleon had to chase its food, it would probably starve to death because they are very slow. They move through the trees with a very specific, weird little dance. They rock back and forth as they walk, taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. This might look like they are just really bad at walking, but there is a smart reason for it. By rocking back and forth, they look like a leaf blowing in the wind. This helps them hide from predators that are looking for the shape of a moving animal. It is part of their whole costume of being a boring, harmless branch that nobody should eat. To stay on those branches, they have developed the most specialized feet in the world. Their feet look like little oven mitts or pincers with 2 toes on one side and 3 on the other. These are called zygodactyl feet, and they are designed perfectly for gripping thin branches. They don't have flat feet for walking on the ground because they almost never go down there. Instead, their feet wrap around a twig just like your hand wraps around a baseball bat. They have a grip that is incredibly strong, so even a big gust of wind won't knock them off. And if their feet aren't enough, they have a literal 5th limb to help them out. Their tail is what we call prehensile, which means it can grab onto things just like a hand. Most lizards have tails that are just there for balance or to drop off if a predator grabs them. But if a chameleon loses its tail, it can't grow it back, so it treats it with a lot of respect. They use that tail to anchor themselves to a branch while they reach for the next one. It is like a safety rope for a mountain climber that is always attached to their body. When they are sleeping, they often curl their tail up into a tight little spiral to keep it safe. It is a very cute look for a lizard that is otherwise built like a prehistoric monster. Now, you might think all chameleons are about the same size, like a small parrot or a squirrel. But the world of chameleons actually has a massive range of sizes that will blow your mind. On one hand, you have the giants of the family like the Parsons chameleon. These guys can grow to be about the size of a house cat, and they are quite heavy. They live in the jungles of Madagascar and look like something out of a dinosaur movie. They are slow, majestic, and have huge horns on their noses that make them look tough. But on the complete opposite end of the scale, you have the micro-mini versions. There is a species called Bruchisia micra that is so small it is hard to believe it is real. When it is fully grown, it can comfortably sit on the head of a matchstick. It is one of the smallest reptiles on the entire planet, and it lives under dead leaves. Imagine an entire adult animal with eyes, a brain, and a heart that is smaller than your fingernail. These tiny chameleons don't even change color as much because they are already the color of dirt. They just spend their lives being tiny and hiding from literally everything else in the world. Most of these amazing creatures live on the island of Madagascar, off the coast of Africa. Madagascar is like a laboratory for weird evolution where everything grew up differently. Because the island was separated from the mainland for millions of years, the animals there are unique. Nearly half of all the chameleon species in the entire world are found only on that one island. It is the chameleon capital of the world and the place where they really get to show off. But life isn't always easy for a chameleon, even with all these cool superpowers. They have a big problem, which is that they are basically high-protein snacks for everything else. Birds, snakes, and even larger mammals are always trying to find a chameleon for lunch. Since they can't run away, they have to rely entirely on their bag of tricks to survive. This brings us to the biggest challenge they face every single day in the wild. If they make one wrong move or show the wrong color, they are basically dead. They have to constantly balance the need to find food with the need to stay hidden. It is a high-stakes game of hide and seek that lasts their entire lives. Sometimes they will even pretend to be dead if they think they have been spotted. They will let go of the branch, curl up into a ball, and fall to the forest floor. They hope that the predator will think they are just a piece of falling debris or a dead leaf. It is a risky move because the fall could hurt them, but it is better than being eaten. This brings us to the climax of our story, where all these features work together. Imagine a chameleon is sitting on a branch when a large bird starts circling overhead. First, the chameleon senses the danger because its 360-degree eyes saw the shadow. It immediately changes its skin color to a dull, mottled brown to match the bark perfectly. It stops moving entirely and pulls its limbs in close to its body to break up its shape. The bird flies closer, looking for any sign of life or movement on the tree. The chameleon begins its slow, rhythmic rocking motion to mimic the breeze. To the bird, there is nothing there but a lumpy branch swaying in the wind. The bird gives up and flies away to find an easier target that isn't a master of disguise. Once the danger is gone, the chameleon spots a grasshopper a few inches away. Its eyes lock forward, calculating the exact distance with mathematical precision. The tongue launches, the grasshopper is snatched, and the lizard goes back to its nap. It is a perfect cycle of survival that has worked for millions of years. These animals are a reminder that being fast and strong isn't the only way to win. Sometimes, being weird, slow, and very colorful is the best strategy of all. They don't need to fight because they are too smart to be caught in the first place. They have turned their entire bodies into a multi-tool for living in the trees. From the tips of their pincer feet to the ends of their suction cup tongues, they are built for this. Even their skin is a communication device and a solar panel all wrapped into one. We can learn a lot from chameleons about adapting to the world around us. They don't try to change the forest to suit them. They change themselves to suit the forest. They show us that there is beauty in being different and having your own unique style. Whether they are as big as a cat or as small as a seed, they are all equally impressive. Next time you see a picture of one, remember that you are looking at a master of physics. You are looking at an animal that can see the past and the future at the same time. Well, not really, but they can see behind them and in front of them, which is close enough. They are the true wizards of the reptile world, and they deserve our respect. The more we study them, the more we realize how little we actually knew about them. They aren't just lizards that change color. They are a whole different way of existing. They remind us that nature is way more creative and funny than we usually give it credit for. Who else would think to put a disco ball inside the skin of a slow-moving lizard? Only nature could come up with something that ridiculous and make it work so well. So, let's stop believing the myths and start appreciating the real chameleon. They don't need to turn into a checkerboard to be the coolest animals on the planet. They are already doing enough just by being their weird, wonderful, swaying selves. The world would be a much more boring place without these colorful shapeshifters in it. I hope you enjoyed learning about these little guys as much as I enjoyed talking about them. If you ever get the chance to see one in person, watch its eyes very closely. It will probably be watching you with one eye and looking for an exit with the other. That is just the chameleon way of saying hello and keeping its options open. They are the ultimate introverts who just want to blend in and be left alone. But we can't help but stare because they are just too interesting to ignore. From their oven-mitt feet to their lightning-fast tongues, they are nature's best invention. And now you know the truth about the mood ring skin and the 360-degree vision. You can go tell your friends that chameleons don't actually hide by changing color. You can explain the disco ball crystals and the suction cup tongues to everyone you know. You are now officially a chameleon expert, or at least you know more than most people. Keep being curious about the world because it is full of strange things like this. There are probably 1,000 other secrets hiding in the jungle that we haven't found yet. But for now, the chameleon is the king of the weird, and we love them for it. If you want to see another animal with some seriously weird superpowers, check out this video.